Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to my YouTube video, Food for the Soul. Yeah, I got a little cold, but the video about don't be afraid to live. Live your life with purpose. Don't get caught up in staying on a job that you hate because it's comfortable. You know something? We buried one of my great uncles today, but he was full of life. He had a smile on his face all the time, and he stood for what was right. He was working. You know, I learned from his life lesson, don't be afraid to live. You know, some of us, we not living life with no boundaries because we scared to step out on faith. We go to church every Sunday. We go to Bible study. We say the same prayer. But you have to be a risk taker. See, I came from a family of risk takers for the most part. Now, I love my grandma. She's the greatest grandma I ever had. The only grandma I ever had on my dad's side. But I learned from her life, too. She never went out of town overnight in her whole life. I've always been inspired by that story to travel. I've been to California. I've been to Vegas. I even took the Greyhound back from Vegas to South Carolina. What I'm saying is, don't be afraid to live. Live your life. Make mistakes. Fall on your face. Don't have a life of regret. Hey, you know, a lot of people use the prodigal son as a story about a fellow who woke up in the slop and came to himself. But guess what? You gotta look at the story before he came to himself. Yes, he was out there clubbing, hoe-hopping, drinking, drugging, wilding out, sowing his wild oats. He got his blessings before it was time for him to get it. We all get that. But one thing you didn't know, he lived his life. He wasn't afraid to dare, to be unimaginable. He challenged the odds. And you look at David. We all remember David for that one mistake of sleeping with the man's wife. But David also lived a life. He did a lot. He was a writer, a king, a musician. He did everything from A to Z. He lived an unchallenged life, and he was good at what he did. You know what I'm saying with these two stories? And after being to funeral after funeral and looking at the graveyard, how many dreams or inventions died that are buried? How many lessons buried? The graveyard is a treasure chest full of the unimaginable inventions that could have been here today, but they never stepped out and invented it. They never stepped out on their faith. I don't like tradition to a point because tradition makes you lazy. You go park in the same parking space. You sit on the same pew. You give the same testimony. Monday morning, you get up at the same time, eat the same thing for breakfast, go to the job that you hate, get mad because you can't pay your bills, because you're not making enough money, because of tradition. Don't be afraid to live. We got so many people not living in their full potential because they're scared to step out on faith. They can talk about faith. They can define faith, but they can't step out on faith. Ain't that something? They have the same position in church for 20 years. Never move up, never move down. The same title. They never challenge themselves to be anything better or more. And I'm not saying nothing wrong with that, But you got a ever changing God, but you don't ever change. You got a God that's of the future, but you still stuck in the yesteryear of how we used to do things. We got so many people stuck in the past. We've been free, but they're still slaves. Ain't that something? They're still not afraid to live. They'll just be happy with, I get my blessings when I get to heaven. I get my healing when I get to heaven. Who says so? I say it over and over in many different ways. You have one life to live. Live it to your fullest. Don't be scared to challenge yourself, push yourself, or dare to dream to be bigger than you are today. It's better to try and fail than to fail to try. You heard me? It's better to try and fail than to fail to try anything. So many people are keeping themselves from their greatness.